being here. We will try to keep it short to give you back as much time as we can. We wanted to do a update on the general state of play, on some of the technical changes that we've done. I think we can show the next slide, Zaira, so that we dive straight in. So we will do a little update on EBSI's latest technical release, as well as some things that you might want to watch out for. Then I will do a very short state of play on our parallel track that some of you are also involved in, which is the wallet conformance testing, as well as a really quick checkpoint on the progress on the multi-university pilot, only to immediately hand over to some of you, thanks to who have prepared a few short presentations. I believe that our conveners, Daniel and others, will help facilitate this portion. And then in the end, we will recap on our next steps. There will be moments for questions throughout as well. Towards the end, we'll have a Slido. So I will now hand the floor over to Kevin, I believe, Kevin, Wesley, and Alan, who will give you guys a short update on the latest EBSI releases and will let you know what you need to watch out for. So Kevin, Wesley, Alan, all of you, over to you. Whatever you want. Kevin? I see you. Okay, perfect. I just don't hear you yet. No.
No.
But I hear Wesley.
Yeah. If Kevin cannot connect, I will just take it then.
Perfect. Yeah, we don't hear you, Kevin. So I think Wesley can maybe introduce while Kevin sorts out his sound.
Yeah. So as you can see on the slide, and briefly speaking, the latest release we have done is the release 200 RC9, release candidate 9. It was released on the 22nd, so it's only 3 days ago. There was a release note, and we want to get back to the release note and explain some of the changes. So first thing, there was a mistake in our release note, so this is really on us. One of the change was marked as breaking change, but actually it was not a breaking change. It was wrongly tagged because in our template, we just prefill it and we have the tag breaking, but the person in charge forgot to remove it. But it was not a breaking change. The change in question was, did document shall contain a context property pointing to the DID schema, right? This change, I would like to explain the impact because at the moment, EBSI approach, and EBSI is very young, so we have an optimistic approach where we don't check everything. We decide to adopt standard, and we assume that every implementation follows the standard. And as EBSI implementation matures, we put in place checks to enforce those standards. The goal being in line with what we are doing with the wallet conformance testing. We try to be conformant to the standards that we adopt. And therefore, by having this extra check that verifies the presence of the context for the documents, we can detect implementation that are incomplete or not in line with the DID standard in this case. So I wanted to explain this because I think it's really important to understand it was not a breaking change and actually enforce the conformance with W3C standard in this case. All right. Is there any question or reaction about
that? Yeah, maybe here. Patrick here from the Technical University of Berlin. What will be verified and against what? Is it the verification of the pure standard, W3C standard, or is it EBSI confirmation verification process?
Well, in this example, the only thing that we are doing is on the API level, we check for every DID document that we receive that they are properly formed, meaning for did document, we check the presence of a context.
Okay, is this are we able to use this, for instance, in your test scripts? Will there be an option to have like the possibility to send something there and verify this, or try to verify this?
Yeah, you can try to send did document to the did registry using either the CLI tool, or either you can try to do that with the API catalog. If the payload is incorrect, for instance, your document is not containing the context, then you will get an error message.
Okay.
And I believe this is what happened recently, right? All right, moving on. So the next release is already scheduled. It's the version 2.0.0 RC10. The changes to come, the conformance mocks. We are, as I mentioned, we are making a lot of progress on the wallet conformance testing. And we introduced last week to wallet provider mocks that allow to play the onboarding, issuance, and verifying scenario for wallet providers. So the mocks will be released on the RC10 with the conformance dashboard that allows to extract log trace left by the user of the conformance testing. So we can prove and we can verify that they went through the scenario successfully or not. The conformance environment itself that will host both the dashboard and the mocks. Then we started to implement throttling on API to make the API more resilient to attacks, specifically to DDoS attacks. Meaning I don't have the figure in mind, but for instance, you cannot make more than 10 requests per minute or something like this. I don't have the exact figure, but that's the idea. And there is, of course, more improvements along the way, but there are smaller things. Possible impacts. At this stage, we don't expect any breaking changes. We really try to avoid breaking changes as much as possible. And if they occur, they will be marked in the release note properly this time. Again, apologies for the mistake on the last release note, but I think it's better to make mistakes in this direction than the other direction. It would be more annoying to mark something as minor that is actually a breaking change, but yeah, sorry for that.
I think we can move to the next slide, Zaira.
I see Kevin in video. Kevin, do you have your sound? You want to take over here? Or?
If you can hear me, yes, sure.
Yeah, we can.
All right, so sorry about the snafu earlier. And thanks for covering, Wesley. So basically a quick follow-up with these slides. The point of this slide and the next are to tell you what's basically what's going to happen next coming sprint, so sprint 25, and how it pans out over actually the next couple of weeks. So we're without spending too much time in details, we are still finishing a number of guidelines. We're releasing as often as possible. The last release was on Monday. I know that it was reported. The next one will be at the latest 2 weeks from now. At the earliest, it will be a few days earlier. The point is that by releasing a bit early, we will allow, we'll give access to the wallet conformance testing mocks, which are long awaited. So at the latest release 2 weeks from now, at the earliest a few days before. But what's notable is that we'll keep working on the guidelines probably for another couple of days. An environment will be a conformance environment will be made available and a dashboard. So all of it basically matches what we had in the previous slide, and that's the Gantt chart allows you to see how it's going to pan out over time. Maybe we can go to the next slide. Thanks. So here, Alan, if that's okay with you, basically that would be nice if you could maybe take a minute to explain what's in each of these guidelines, but the purpose of this slide, just to before giving you the floor, it's to report that out of all the either guidelines or profiles or specifications that we had been working on, 5 are already available, which should unblock many of you on the path to the wallet conformance testing. And they are described here. Once the slides are made available, you'll be able to click on them and access them. One that is ongoing is the JWT verifiable authorization support on the authorization API. But maybe we can take 30 seconds or a minute, Alan, to update people on the first 5. Would you like to do it?
Yes. Hi. Okay. So in the last weeks, we either improved a bit or updated guidelines. You see here below, and we are in a constant process of improving, adding information to improve either the readability or clarity. So whenever you go through these pages, if you have any questions, concerns, something is unclear, please either leave a comment or report. So this feedback is extremely important so that we know what to improve. So yeah, if anything is off, just report. We'll be happy to fix it or improve it to make sure that everyone understands and everything is as clear as possible. Because we all know if one person has a question about a topic, then probably there are also others. Okay, now I will share my screen to go very briefly through the pages. To just summarize what's presented in these pages. Like this. Okay. Okay. So first page, onboarding natural persons, is just an extract of a previous page that elaborated the full onboarding process and the details of interactions. Here is just, we describe in headlines, so the high-level steps, how user interacts with the onboarding service, with authorization API to get access token, and then how to access protected EBSI services. And here we provide a short description. And there's a very useful EBSI demonstrator page. Yeah, I believe this link should be also in the, so this page hasn't been updated, but it guides you through different scenarios, and these onboarding user journeys, for example, described here. So here is a high-level overview, and this demonstrator page with the CLI tool, you can also go through all the steps and understand also in more detail what happens at a particular in a particular action of this journey. Then the following 2 pages are more related to the wallet's conformance testing. So here we prepared the first version of credential issuance guidelines. What's presented on this page is stable, but as we continue, we will provide more content to describe, to cover all possible scenarios when user wants to request issuance of a credential. Here's a high-level overview of interactions between the holder and the credential issuer. And in the following, by the following release, we will also have mock APIs where you will that will be fully compliant with this specification, and you will also be able to test your implementation against it. And here are all the requests, responses, examples. Yeah, if you will have any questions or is anything unclear, just let us know. Same goes for the verifiable presentation exchange guidelines. So this document describes the protocol for how users can request. So sorry, verifiers can request presentation of credentials, and what is the actual interaction. Similar structure as before, high-level overview. Here we elaborate a bit more the different flows. So user can have a mobile app that visits a website on his mobile, for example, or a cross-device flow where wallet and a verifier page are on different devices, and then another scenario where, for example, a verifier doesn't have a backend endpoints exposed. And then again, we go into more details, data models, and examples. So we updated this page to provide more examples. We also provided more explanatory data models, so you understand better how different steps are done. Again here, and as before, also these endpoints for the conformance testing will be available by the following release. Now to keep, because we know that these scenarios can grow, to keep track of what is already covered, we created this wallet conformance testing profile. We also presented this in the previous meeting. And here we are really keeping track of all the details, profiles for the onboarding, credentials issuance, and presentation. And information here should be sufficient and to define which scenarios are already covered. This page, so we cleaned up the verifiable credential and presentation proofs website. In the first version, as was presented in the past, so we begin with JSON JWT formatted credentials. And here we provide references to the relevant standards to create those signatures. So this is pretty standard, so no additional information is needed here. In case you experience any issues with signing or support, just let us know, or if you find that some endpoints are returning error messages, yeah, feel free to come back to us and we will try to identify the issues. Yeah, okay, and this is the early adopter demonstrator. You know this page very well. Okay, Kevin, that is all. Yeah, from my side, we are also actively updating the schemas. So
I was going there indeed. Do you want to update everyone on this?
no,
There's fresh news.
You can do it. Okay, great.
Sounds good. Well, thanks a lot, Alan, for the details. Really, we welcome everyone to refer to the slides that I believe will be shared after this meeting. There are 5 URLs at the bottom of that particular slide. I think it's slide 6. Don't quote me on that, 6 or 7. We will copy in the chat the URL pointing to the demonstrator because it's a test script that's very useful. And one to follow up and close on that section with what Alan hinted at, the schemas. So if you go to Bitbucket, and if you don't have the URL, we are happy to put that in the chat. You'll be happy to see that we were able to push an update to a number of schemas in the past hour, even so we had been at it for a couple of weeks. So the verifiable attestation, the generic schema proposal is there. It was updated about an hour ago. Some have been there for a couple of weeks, but the verified representation schema is there and has been there for 2 hours. So we are pushing the latest really updates, the latest progress there. Feel free to take a look at the Bitbuckets and report any questions you have. We'll be happy to copy the URLs on the chat in a minute. Thank you.
Thanks all. So I've copied the URL to the playbook from which you can access, I think, all of the links that were just presented to you in the chat, as well as the specific link to the demonstrator. Also, don't forget that the link to Bitbuckets and the schemas is also presented in the playbook. So everything that was shown here, the playbook should always be your first destination. Also, maybe worth noting that a lot of the updates that we were making, and I'd like to reinforce this point, are based on feedback that we get directly from you. Either in these webinars or in webinars that we have been starting to do with the wallet providers in the context of conformance testing. So it's extremely helpful for us to receive your feedback. I wanted to pause now to see if there were any more reactions or questions to what was just presented before I close the technical chapter of our discussion today. I am aware that there have been a lot of exchanges on technical topics recently, particularly between, I believe, also the Cyprus initiative. Most recently, I saw some emails and ourselves. So if anyone wants to intervene, comment, or ask something, now is the time. I know that Yorgos, you had a lot of exchange this week with us.
Yeah, hello everybody. I mean, just to share with you our decision now. I mean, in cooperation with the guys at the EBSI team. With thanks a lot to Alan, Wesley, Kevin, and Daniel, of course, for the cooperation on this. We've commonly decided to focus on scenario 8 now.
Yeah, but Yorgos, that comes in a moment. Sorry to interrupt. We have a dedicated session on this. It was just
I thought
if
you
you had
wanted me
some
to.
technical questions.
No technical, no,
No,
at this moment. Okay.
Okay, thank you. No, but keep your thing. So in a moment, I think Maxine.
That's what I was
rush into that.
referring to. Yeah, we will have
Yeah.
indeed a moment to talk about the actual integration plan, the demo, the scenarios. But I wanted to ask if, when it comes to technical support, you had more questions or needs.
Okay, thank you.
No worries, but thanks for your enthusiasm. We will give you the floor later. So rest assured. Okay, well then I'll give a very short update on the wallet providers.
There's a question from Colin.
So yeah, I raised my hand.
Sorry, I
Just
missed
that
it.
very
I'm
brief
sorry,
question.
Colin.
Because I was waiting for the link in the chat, but I haven't seen it yet. Just to ask if the diploma accreditation record schema is part of the ones that you just pushed to the Bitbucket. Is that available now?
Alan, Wesley, help.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I was just asking if the schema for verifiable accreditation records for universities is also part of the updates that you said that were just published.
No, it's not. It's not. No, the accreditation record is not in the list of the ones we've updated today. But we have Jerry, our expert, working on it now. So if it's not in there yet, it's a matter of hours. We're looking at the end of this week to push all of them. I can get
list from memory the schemas that you updated in the last week.
Yes, yeah. So there's the verifiable presentation schema, the VP verified presentation schema. I'm looking at it right now. The EBSI verifiable authorization legal entity schema and natural person were updated 2 weeks ago. So no, on the 15th, I mean. Another one that was updated an hour ago is the verifiable diploma schema. And just looking at another one that was updated an hour ago, the verifiable attestation generic schema. So I'm looking at examples. We also have new examples of presentations, and I mean 2 versions basically of the diploma schema. But the accreditation record is still in the pipeline. I'll check now with Jerry, and I can revert to you on the chat if that's okay. Yeah, you have the link to the Bitbucket, I believe. So it's from the playbook page.
Where can people go if they want to be kept aware of the most recent changes aside from these meetings?
Well, basically, the Bitbucket is where you will see the organization of the schemas and the latest update on the right-hand side of the page. So either the playbook or straight to Bitbucket. But that's what allowed me earlier to tell you, okay, this one was updated an hour ago, 2 hours ago. It's very, very accurate.
Okay, so Colin, I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
All right. Any other questions before we move on and we change topics entirely? I'm trying to see if there's a hand raised somewhere. It doesn't look like it, so then we move on. I will give a very short status update on the wallet conformance testing. So there's this handy little roadmap here, which summarizes our engagement with wallet providers, some of whom are working directly with you. So there's going to be some overlap between the 2 groups. We've had a couple of webinars in October and November. The latest webinar was last week on the 18th, I believe, and that webinar was to kick off officially the conformance testing start for every participant. So we shared all of the information about the conformance testing scenarios back in October, invited for feedback, and then as from last week, we have opened conformance testing for all of the wallets that are part of the initiative. And I'll show an overview in the next slide. We are hoping that obviously as people partake in the testing and run through the conformance testing scenarios, that we will be able to certify some wallets as compliant before the end of this year. Naturally, we will have to see how people progress. We have made some support channels available for those partaking, because we understand that the wallets are very crucial also to you guys' pilots. So we are providing on-demand technical support in the form of a Slack channel for all of the wallet providers that are partaking in the conformance testing. And a lot of the schemas that we recently improved and guidelines that we added have also been based on questions that they asked us. As you can see, this takes us to the end of the year with this first pilot round of the conformance testing, which is taking place in a private environment. We want to be able to launch conformance testing as a public service sometime in the start of next year. And this will involve also us engaging in communications activities in order to stimulate the market to take part in conformance testing. This is the two lines that you see grayed out at the bottom, which are called Stimulate Market, and a question mark around a hackathon or wallet challenge. More on that soon. We haven't finalized our plans yet, but this is something that we want to do. And finally, I just wanted to also highlight that while security is not the part of this round in conformance testing, there is a security questionnaire that we do provide the wallet providers so that they can assess their own security needs, and we plan to release that in January. So that is the overall plan of work. We have a number of wallet providers that participate with us. You see them all here. They are here sorted by the initiatives that take part in the early adopter program. I'm not going to labor too much on this table. It is available on our wiki. If you go under multi-university pilot, you can find, sorry, I'll answer the question in a second. You can find this list, so you have an overview. Obviously, we have some recurring names. A lot of you are relying on similar wallets. Some of you have also are building custom wallets for your implementation. So we are keeping track of the wallets that are part of this program, and then we will also keep track of the ones who have passed the wallet conformance testing, which is the column you see on the right here, or if there are blockers for them that we can try to resolve. And I'm not sure, Daniel, if you want to add anything here. Otherwise, I will address the questions that are coming.
No, not especially. The only thing is that, again, those are the wallets that you provided. So we didn't make any selection on this. This is the things that come up. It was also a closed group, so we get also regular questions about, okay, can those providers enter? We block that as a moment. The only wallet providers are part of your project that are included. The rest will be in a second wave that will be presumably more open and transparent and open for everybody.
Indeed, complying with the general principles of neutrality. Mommy doesn't have favorites, so we only invited wallets to partake in conformance testing if they were known to us through you. And obviously, conformance testing will be open to the public as soon as we've ironed out all of the kinks, which we're working on with you guys. So how can we join the Slack channel for wallets? You send an email to eu.epsi@ec.europa.eu. And we will add you. I'm not sure, some of you should have received invitations. You might have missed it. I've not kept the pulse on every single email that went out, but please just send us an email and we'll send you an invitation. Some of you who are already on Slack, apparently if you're in several different channels, you might have to log in with a different email address in order to join a different channel. So just be aware that this might also be something that you encounter, but I'm sure that most of us here have a couple of email addresses at least, so it shouldn't really hold you back. Any other questions on the wallet before I move on to the next chapter? I see, I'm just going to check if I see hands raised. I don't see any hands raised, so I think on. Someone's saying something. Alex.
Yes, sorry. Well, I put it in the chat. We're working on one of those wallets because we needed it for mobile. But we have some internal schedule for the project, for Impulse project. So we might need to comply with that timing first. So I don't know if it's okay if we work on the wallet conformance testing after that, it could happen in February. Is it okay?
Alex, it's absolutely fine. It's basically we are having this pilot in order to accelerate some people's journeys and also for us to be able to refine our service. But there are no time constraints on when any one wallet might be allowed to participate once it's made public. So it's okay.
Okay, perfect.
It
Thanks.
might be it might be a hindrance for you in terms of the other things that you want to accomplish within your pilot. But in terms of the rules of wallet conformance testing, there's absolutely no problem.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Any more questions? Okay, then I'll do very quickly an overview of the pilot. I'm sure you know it all by heart now. So Zaira, next slide. You know where we are. We're in the build phase. I think you're by now sick of seeing the same picture, so we'll just move on. A little reminder of the fact that we are all working in clusters and that the purpose of these clusters is to join together initiatives in order to allow for cross-border scenarios in the pilots and not just within border scenarios, even though those are also important. We wanted them to demonstrate cross-border interoperability. So here are your clusters. You also know them, and you can always consult the list of cluster members on the wiki. And next slide. Today, we've all identified the cross-border scenarios that you want to prioritize, as well as the national scenarios that you want to prioritize. Most of you have started building your integration plans. There have been several rounds of tech support. Integration plans are at several different degrees of maturity, and we understand that the conveners have had meetings, bilateral meetings with a lot of the clusters and initiatives in order to understand the level of maturity that these different pilots are in order to assess when a demo might be possible. Therefore, next slide, sorry. Therefore, we've compiled all this information that was very usefully collated by our conveners, and we have looked at all of the different scenarios. So really a scenario would be the subject of a demo. And out of all of the scenarios that have been prioritized in your different cluster meetings, 9 of them are believed to be able to be delivered in 2021, or at least a partial version or a partial demo would be possible to deliver in 2021, and the rest most likely towards Q1 of 2022, which could be in the middle towards the end of Q1 2022 in terms of demonstrating the capacities. So next slide. This brings us here. We want to understand on our end. Well, we will listen to your presentations because I believe some of you will be taking the floor later. We want to understand on our end because we have the ambition of obviously showcasing the work you've been doing, and we want to understand when that might be possible. We will, in any case, be reaching out to those who feel they are ready to show something so that you may showcase it to the EBSI community, so the European Blockchain Partnership, during the next quarterly meeting. There is no pressure, but if you are ready to show something, it would be great. It would give you visibility, and that would count as the internal demo moment. As you can see on this now familiar roadmap, we have added a bottom row, which concerns the multi-university pilot. And then we would like to organize a very large event to attract also representatives from the Commission from different parts of it, and representatives from the member states who work on different policy items, and to showcase the work that we've been doing. And we would like to organize a demo day. Now, we were hoping to do it in Q1 2022. We don't know exactly when is realistic, so we're going to ask you a few questions after this bit in order to better be able to scope when you might be ready. But for us, it's important to be able to show the work that we've been doing. So this is why this is where it would neatly fit in our timeline, sometime in February, maybe end of February, no sooner than Valentine's Day. Would be a lovely day for a demo day. I've always wanted to organize a big commission event on Valentine's Day. I think it'd be quite funny. Please indulge my career ambitions. And so, anyway, we will have a little poll now with you in order to understand what would be realistic. But I just wanted to give you an overall picture of why we're positioning it around then. It's because then we would like to also start communications activities, organizing hackathons and such things. And we obviously like to ride off of the success of the demo. So, should the wallet conformance testing end by December? look, we would hope to have some conformant wallets by the end of December within our pilot group. No, you can continue. You can continue until after if you feel that that's what you need in terms of time. And obviously, the conformance testing service will continue to be available year round. But now, because we're running this pilot, we want to see who we can get on an accelerated timeline, given the dependencies between the wallets and the successful demos of the pilot. So that is the only reason. I hope that answers your question, Adnan. I don't know.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay, great.
And
so
another question, but afterwards, when the time is good.
I'm so sorry. I'm really struggling to understand what you said.
I have another question related to hackathon and that wallet challenges. And the question is, if we organize a hackathon around March, is that realistic that we might have already some wallets which are already EBSI compliant, or what's your feeling on that?
Did someone have better sound than me on this? Because I heard about.
No.
Is your question if there will be a wallet provider available before you want to end your March pilot? Is that the question?
I think he's asking whether it's realistic to have an hackathon wallet challenge at that moment. We summarize the question. Sorry for my voice.
Thanks, Adnan. He's writing it down. Look, I mean, the bits that are in gray on the timeline are also the ones that we haven't committed to firmly. So we're trying to plan a high-level roadmap, but we've built in some flexibility because we will today find out a little bit more about your own respective timelines. The next bit of the presentation is going to give you the floor, and then we have also a portion where we will literally poll the audience. Adnan is still typing. But while Adnan types, I propose that we already introduce the next section by Daniel, and then we'll pick up your question as soon as we can, Adnan.
Okay, so as Maxine said, for our big Valentine demo that we want to go out. But before we go into Valentine, we need to rehearse. And as Maxine has mentioned, we want to have a big showcase at the moment, more quarterly one. But the first deadline or a touch point is the quarterly meeting that we have on the 9th and the 10th of December. Yeah? Now, to prepare that, and when in the past time we have stretched you and rest you a bit, we have also looked at, okay, what kind of project are defining scenarios, what our project are defining also cross-border scenarios, and also what kind of project are also a bit ready. You know? Based on this interaction, and that's not something formal, but something that has grown spontaneously, people who are more active than other people active, we have tried to select, and please give us the necessary feedback during this section if we forgot somebody of saying, okay, but I'm also ready, I'm also very active, because we were looking at this moment, okay, which would be the project in this early adopter group that could provide us the first deliverables of the first results that we would likely to show in a very advanced and very quick way into us that 10th of December. So don't get too offended if you're not in that smaller group. We have seen the early adopters as a bigger group that will advance, but we have learned a lot of your project that we have separate timelines. So we are now a bit focusing on the people that are in a very short term bringing results, and then of course we keep looking at the other aspects. Now, based on that, a bit a selection is a bit a harsh word, but based on those insights, the conveners together with the technical team have reached out to several people, had also some interaction to that side. Okay, what is that your integration plan and what is your ambitious? So we're gonna give the floor today to 5 of those projects today present here. But of course, the other ones are also supported, and we also expect a bit that the integration planning of your other project will be also necessary. Okay, so some people will be having just highlighted without a presentation, or they have made the presentation, but that's not a judgment. And of course, the information will be shared. Yeah? So maybe I will start this overview of projects that are a bit engaging towards a date at the beginning, or maybe we'll from December. Otherwise, we'll be saying that we start with this overview, maybe with Spain in combination with Slovakia. So, Jose Manuel, I think you are present and you have escaped for a few minutes in the AIDAS working group. So if you are present, Jose Manuel, maybe you can share the ideas and the focus that you have in the Spanish and Slovakian scenarios.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, here I present the scenario of the cross-border, cross-pilot exercise between Slovakia and Spain. This will be the proposal. A citizen from Slovakia will request and receive a verifiable ID from the authority that is relevant in Slovakia, and then this will be verified by Spanish university with the purpose of engage at this university. And in the second scenario, the Royal Spanish Mint is going to issue a verifiable ID to Spanish citizen, and this will be verified by the verifier that Slovakia has chosen, which is the Demo Bank portal. Regarding this, these are the milestones that we have agreed between the two pilots. We're going to start, we have already started to adapt the different pilot solutions to the current EBSI specification. We're going to face the wallet conformance test to face and hopefully pass by the end of December, and the exercise to explore the interoperability scenario will start in January. At this moment, we can't foresee which is the expectation date to showcase the cross-pilot experience, but I think it will be ready by the beginning of February. And that's all from our side. Thank you, Daniel.
Okay, thank you, Jose Manuel. I don't know if somebody of Slovakia is also present to highlight or add something to this. So based on that, you see a bit what we are a bit expecting. So this is not a full story, but it doesn't need to be. So at least this demo will be used to showcase, okay, what is the possibilities and what kind of interaction do we support? Not only towards our community, but also to the IDAS community, because I think, and then maybe to jump, if there are no questions, please interrupt if you have any questions, of course, always to the participant. Because I think the other project that this is one, the Slovakian and the Spanish project, or the interaction that will be happening on their front with two different wallets. Another pilot that we see, and we stay a bit in the Spanish level, but also in the Dutch, is also the interaction more from the wave one. That will be also trying to showcase something in December. But maybe Andre, you can share what your plans are together with Spain. Jose Manuel can jump into. Andre, I think you're present. Andre, do you hear us? Or Jose Manuel, can you share?
Yes, I can. Okay, regarding the a potential pilot between Spain and Netherlands, as we are using the same wallet provider, we think it will be feasible to start talking about cross-border, cross-pilot exercise, and probably it can be ready for the 10th of December for our next quarterly technical and policy meeting in EBSI. We have to consider this, and we have to review and confirm with our technical teams, but that we are going to hold some meetings tomorrow. But this is our intention to have ready this pilot. Okay, it's we have the same wallet provider, so it will be easy in some way. But we are the importance of this exercise is that we are connecting our wallet provider to national databases in different environments. I see that Andre is here, so
yeah, Andreas landed.
Yeah, that's sorry, my Murphy was coming around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jose is saying, of course, the truth. We from the Netherlands are finishing our project at the end of this year, and we will start this the second part of this project to ensure that a verifiable credential can be issued to a Dutch student, but can be verified by a Spanish university. And we hope to finalize this by in the first quarter of next year. So that will be our ambition. Okay. At least if DG Digit is not planning any exercises around the infrastructure and surprises.
No, they promised
so, Maxime,
at the beginning of the session that the breaks would be over. So Wesley and Kevin made the hard promise to extra guide that we don't have any breaks and this running thing. That is important. Indeed. Andre, maybe you can also share, because this is not only a pilot that you do from the EBSI side, you are also looking very heavily to the EIDAS aspect. Maybe you can also share something. If you can share something.
Yeah, because one of the use cases from EIDAS is the diploma use case, and together with the Spanish, we really like to engage the EIDAS working group a little bit much more closer to what we're doing within EBSI, and that's not a running game right now, because from the EIDAS working group, EBSI is a little bit out of scope, and from a Spanish and Dutch side, we're trying to bring it a little bit within scope, but it's still hard work to be done. And that's why we need the use case diplomas to see that this is really a feasible way forward, so that we can convince working group 2 within the EIDAS community to really allow the wallet to be also at least EBSI compliant.
Right. For your information, for other people, working group 2 of EIDAS is indeed the ones that will provide the wallet specification. So if there is no specification for using a ledger or self-sovereign identity, it will not be a part of the European e-identity. So that is a very important work that Andre and his team and Spanish are doing, because if not, we'll lose that battle and the gate will close for another 10 to 20 years. So it's a very important aspect. So maybe Henny, you can also add something from in the, because this pilot maybe on a longer scale will be also introducing some diploma things. I don't know if you want to share something or add something to this Spanish-Dutch.
Well, just adding what Jose Manuel and Andre just told you, is that we have a strategy of combining the knowledge we have and the deliverables from EBSI within the use case diplomas within the context of the EIDAS. That is one. To demonstrate that it can actually work and that decentralized models can be a reality. And I think that's an important step to, let's say, to get also the people with another mindset, to put it that way, to let's say seduce them and to that what we are doing within the context of EBSI is of real importance. It's a major step towards verified credentials and decentralized test systems. So we're very happy to join forces with Spain, and we can actually showcase something, and we think it's very important.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if there are any questions. If you have questions on this, please add. Henny, stay in the video and stay on the line, because maybe it's also good that you introduce also, but give the floor towards the Austrian and German project.
Yeah. Yes. I can see that both Marcus and Patrick are in the call, and they're willing to showcase what they what their plans are for integration plans of the Austrian and German initiative. So maybe both Marcus and Patrick, can you showcase or share your screen?
Yeah, hi, it's me, Patrick. I'm not sure. Marcus, do you want to present or should I?
You did most of the work preparing the slides, so
no.
why don't you go ahead and
Okay.
claim the well-deserved attention?
Okay, so the friendly collaboration is also in place, so that's a good point. So, yeah,
let me quick search the latest version. One second. Not prepared. Shame on me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you, Henny, for the short introduction. It's not a big presentation, it's only a short overview, what we are working on, what we're doing, maybe what issues we are facing, and yeah, let's start. Our integration plan now shifts a bit from the initial plan we wanted to achieve, especially from UniCert side, or let's say first was called ID Union side, the Germany to Berlin project, let's say. First, we had another goal in mind, but now we are on this track together with EBSI for Austria, Danube, Marcus, and I. Especially, we're working on together, and we have these goals that simply called that we want that a higher education institution as an EBSI did registered in the TIR and is able to issue a bachelor master's certificate to a student and vice versa, from both sides, so to Berlin as well as BU Wien to Graz. And then the student applies for a study in the country Germany or Austria. Which then, so the high is then able to verify the application or the bachelor master certificate. Verification is a point where we are technically, but in a few seconds a bit more about this maybe. Our integration plan bases on the development of Danube Tech solutions, let's say it this way. Why? Because from my personal view and also from the community's view, etc., pp, these solutions working best for different signing mechanisms. Here we have the universal resolver, registrar, issuer, verifier. We have so many good tools, good solutions working with, and also libraries which we can use and which we are already working with. This is a short description why we are working with the EBSI for Austria examples and the solutions. That's why this is mentioned here. The challenges we are facing are that we need JSON schemas. Now today we heard that there are JSON schemas defined. We will analyze these and let's see how we will work with these schemas. And verifiable credential issuance. This is a point we are also yeah, more or less midterm working with. This means we are now able to sign a credential EBSI on EBSI with EBSI mechanisms, and we also sign then a credential from the holder's perspective. We are also able to do this, but our questions are now, how do we want to send this signed credential from an issuer to a holder, and especially to which wallet or something. So these are things we are evaluating in the next time, and especially which communication protocols do we want to use, etc. So we are really on a technical level working on these topics, yeah. And that's why here is the EBSI compliant holder wallet. So this is a phase, let's say internal evaluation phase, because we don't see the time and energy to write or generate or create an own wallet at the moment. And yeah, the solutions I mentioned already. Here we saw the tools we're using. And yeah, this was copy pasted yesterday to see where we are. I know there are many red rectangles. Don't be scared about this. We are working on it, but it's not that. For instance, here the register process is not a problem. For having an EBSI that registered in the trusted issuer registry. Now the verifiable accreditation registry for the issuer, the accreditation I will do in the next week or something. So this the schema registration, yeah, let's see. We have to discuss. So I don't want to go through all the points. I think these slides will be available. I don't know, Daniel. Do you think we can?
Yes, certainly. If you allow us, we would I would like to share them as also an inspiration to other people who are reflecting on their integration plan. And so please, Zaira has those plans, so we'll be, if you allow us, share those kind of things.
So when Marcus is also fine with this, then I guess we can upload this to the Confluence page or something. And yeah, as you saw and see, it's we have rectangles, but yeah, it's, to be honest, on a technical level, not that easy to how understand the mechanics of the EBSI framework for me personally. But I get better and better by doing these steps also manually. For instance, this tools, the libraries I mentioned from Marcos, helps me to understand what a proof means and how to sign really a credential, especially with an EBSI DIT. And at this point, we are at the moment. So this verify claims we are testing at the moment to verify claim. But okay. I don't know, Marcos, if you want to say something about this. I'm sorry, I think it's not the best presentation ever.
No, it's overview. It gives an excellent overview. No worries, Patrick. So, but Marcus, indeed, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I agree with everything Patrick said. Yes, we're doing some very interesting work and experimentation with some open questions yet. For example, the holder wallet that we would use and the protocols, but Patrick already mentioned all of that. We'll just keep working on that. also some other people here on the call from our project, Andreas Abraham and Harald Moritz. So if you have anything to add, go ahead. But yeah, from my point of view, collaboration with Unicert and Patrick is really good.
Okay, so perfect. So I keep us up to that, and if you indeed have supporting questions, let us know. So this is also an example. We don't push you towards Austria and Germany towards the 10th of December. They have clearly managed, okay, we have a separate timeline, so that's not a problem. But we are very happy that you indeed started the work in these integrations, and we would like to see from every project now involved a timeline so that we can also try to organize ourselves. Okay, now the Austrian team or the Austrian German team is working on those kind of things. We need to mobilize and try to see that supporting on those initiatives that we have a view. Yeah? That is the most important part. So don't let you be too harsh in this 10th of December. There's also fine if you share the integration plan. Annie, I don't know, back to you.
Yes, I was just typing, but
okay.
what I was trying to type was good to show your insights on what you are doing, and also be very honest about the challenges you are facing. I think it's an excellent example from learning by doing. It's a new technology, and we're facing things we could not imagine. Some of them, of course, but some of them not. So I'm very glad that that you took the time to showcase what you are doing, and very happy to see the progress on this. Thank you very much.
Okay, and thank you, Henny. Okay, then we'll jump on to the next one. Jan or Ellen from KU Leuven, Belgium. I don't know who's gonna present, or do you want to do it already in combination with Mikel, or do you something?
I will do it for
okay.
KU Leuven. I
Okay,
will
yeah.
share
Please go
my
on.
screen, if possible. Can you see my screen, the presentation?
Not yet, from my side.
Not yet either.
Share. Cancel. I will try again. Now something is seeable?
Yes, now we do. Perfect.
So the cross-border scenario of UNA-Europa is between Belgian University, our university, KU Leuven, and on the other side, the University of Bologna, Unibo. And the current status is that Ellen already integrated in the student portal the possibility for a student to ask for a verifiable student ID. And we also developed 2 web applications also to issue a verifiable student ID and to verify it. And we are busy sharing it with the University of Bologna. They will adapt it to their needs. So the first thing in the exchange scenario of exchange students can be shown, we hope, by the end of December. The second phase is for the verifiable transcript of records. We received the schemas from Louis. Thank you for that. We have a common wallet provider, Gattaca, and we asked Gattaca to load those schemes into their registry, but it's not yet done. And then Ellen will integrate this into the student portal, and we hope to do the same thing at the site of the University of Bologna, so we can do the cross-border scenario, and we hope to demo it by the end of December. We heavily depend on Gattaca. We still are using their Ethereum-based solution because their EBSI-based solution is not
yet finished. It's we will receive new containers to implement it, and then we are also dependent on the conformance testing of the Gattaca wallet. So we will see what happens there. But anyway, we hope to present the cross-border scenario, at least on Ethereum based and hopefully EBSI based. What we still also need is a data schema for verifiable student ID. I don't know. I've been searching not a lot, but I do not know if it's already existent. But that would help us also. For the remaining, that's more or less the current status of our cross-border scenario.
Okay, thank you very much, Jan. On the Gattaca wallet, the Dutch and the Spanish colleagues are also pushing. So maybe if, I don't know if José Manuel and Andrea are still in the call, but I think you're also pushing them towards using from their Ethereum Gattaca ledger towards the EBSI ledger. Andre, maybe you can share something about that towards Jan and other Gattaca users.
Yes, we are doing so, but we are facing some difficulties in reusing the TER at the EBSI layer, and we have already complained about that, and we are hoping to get that solved at a very short time.
Okay, and that is something, sorry to say so, Kevin, but that we engage on. Huh? So I don't know if you want to share something about that, Kevin. Or
no, I'm aware of the situation and we're working on it. However, I have an update about the student ID because there was a remark about that.
Okay, if you can share that, yeah. Also, that was the second question, indeed.
Okay, so you anticipated that one. So basically, if you look at the GitHub, Bitbucket repository, you will see under the JSON schema section that we have a number of examples. And you will see, for example, under the diploma schema examples, there you have two, that the student ID is part of that schema. So it's not a separate one, it is integrated into this one. So I invite you to take a look at it. If, for example, you go to JSON schema examples, there's an example of Ildiko Mazar Graduate University Study of Civil Engineering, shortened. If you do a search for student ID, you will see it. I'll tell you the row. Sorry, it's taking a bit more than I wanted. I have line 19, student identification number. Yes, can you hear?
Kevin, you are indeed not sharing your screen at this moment. If you
hear
want to
you,
see
but...
something. Yeah.
Okay, so I was not sharing my screen. That's the reason why. But let me do it now. And can you see it now?
Yeah. We'll see a lot of code.
Okay. Yeah, indeed. But that's basically that's the Bitbucket repository, and that's the example of the verifiable diploma, and you see that the student identification number falls here. So it is my understanding that the student ID is integrated into the schema under these claims.
Okay, thanks.
And if there's any question, again, we can iterate on that. But I just wanted to revert to that because at least that's ready. And Andrea, I know about the situation. Apologies again. We are working on it.
Okay, and also Louis is also checking those kind of things to keep it aligned with the academic ID and all those things. So you'll be also hearing from his part. Okay, so but those kind of questions, indeed, I don't hesitate to raise them. Those are exactly the things that we want to organize ourselves to support you. So if you need to put, of course, your wallet provider will need to. Maybe coming back to Jan, you mentioned indeed by the end of next month. Will you be able to share, even it's a partial or a partial version, something towards the 10th of December? Do you see it realistic?
I do not know. The 10th of December is very fast.
Indeed, sorry.
But we are trying. We have contacts with Bologna, and they will try, but we do not have impact on that side. We already did a lot, but we still have to do a lot. And We have to do it in between other projects. So, but we will try. But I don't know if the 10th will be done.
Okay, but let us know. We'll keep in contact. Yeah. If you need support, let us know where we can help and try to see it. And it doesn't need to be, again, the fully thing. That's for our Valentine surprise by the end. So this is just an internal demo. But I think the most policy and technical representatives are very interesting. Okay, what's happening, what kind of things they encounter, and what is and at least a draft or a workable example of what we are doing. Yeah. So keep us informed. Okay, in the same cluster, but I don't know, I don't see Mikel or other representative of the AOC project, because there's also one of the scenarios they wanted to highlight.
I think Daniel is here, if I'm not wrong. Maybe he had
okay,
this
if you can share something.
ID. Let me check. Isn't he? No. Daniel, are you there? Okay, he's writing me to say that he's trying to speak, but he has some issues with the audio. I'm sorry.
Okay, maybe we jump. I come back to you in a moment. Maybe I need to recorrect. I come back to you in a moment. Maybe I jump to Yorgos and the Cyprus and Greek project. Yorgos.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, Yorgos.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very quick, since I've shared with you what I needed to share actually earlier on. Well, I attempted to. We are focusing. I don't know whether you've got my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, we're focusing the two scenarios, the two interoperability or cross-border scenarios that we were involved as a Cyprus project. These scenarios 8 and 11 were in cooperation with the Greek University Network. We've got the traction of the Cyprus student being verified by the Greek University Network. And then in scenario 11, the Greek University Network issues verified diploma credentials to the Cypriot citizen, which are then verified by the Cyprus Scientific Board, in which these are covered by the two scenarios. On our current sprint, we are focusing on scenario 8. So in terms of cross-border interoperability, the scenario 8 will focus in delivering, while we're developing our own wallet for the Cypriot citizen, we'll make sure that the VID of the Cypriot citizens are verified by the Greek University networks. In the next sprint, and hopefully our aim now is to have this ready for the internal MU demo on the 10th of December. We are going to attempt to have it ready. Everybody's committed towards that, but we've got the same concerns, the same challenges that everybody else has mentioned earlier on. I don't need to go through them again. Every day is a new day with new issues. We are learning on the job, so it's a bit hard, but we're going to give it a go for the 10th of December, at least for scenario 8, to have something working. And hopefully our plan is to work once we have that done for our next sprint, to work for the full integration, including the scenario 11, which hopefully will be available to be demoed for the big event. So that's all from me.
Okay, thank you very much, Yorgos. And indeed, that is a bit the sprint approach that we want to see. this will be indeed the first sprint with the first demo, but at least we can already share something, even if it's not completely. And also with Jurgis, but that is maybe also something that we can do for other ones, depending on much resources. We also agreed how we best collaborate. So we had a dedicated meeting to say, okay, how can we best align, answer your questions, and so on. So that's also something that if you have any, you want to do those kind of things, we can also agree with your individual project. If you are in full power, we can try to see how we can best support you. So that is for the Cyprus and Greek demo and or pilot and project. Maybe going back to AOC, I don't know if your sound is now better.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hello?
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excuse me for the
No,
comment.
no problem.
Well, we have thinking into use cases. One of them is to authenticate students in order to provide them public services, like some kind of discount in a municipality in Catalonia, or to apply to validate diplomas in order to apply for a job in a public administration. And nowadays, today, we have our authentication system integrated in a pre-production environment in order to issue and validate verifiable credentials based on EBSI. And our provider, which is Validated ID, is working in the conformance test of the wallet that we are using. And the idea is to begin with the tests using credentials issued by some university, for a Belgian university, in order to test the cross-border scenario of validation of credentials. That's the situation today.
Okay. And Danny, do you have an indication about what timeline do you see before the first results can be shared?
Well, we now we have a demo ready to show, but now we are using verifiable credentials issued by us. And the next step is to begin with the validation of verifiable credentials issued by Belgian university or something like that. But the integration in order to issue or validate verifiable credentials is done in a production environment nowadays.
Yeah, but of course that's the case for all of EBSI. Yeah? So we are indeed working on in the pre-production settings. So let us maybe discuss in the next days how we can your demo that you do with dummy data or with the fake credentials also transform it to ones that we can showcase with credentials and in a cross-border interaction. So I will take that up with Luis, try to see also to arrange those kind of things and together with other partners in this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Danny, for this. So those are the projects that we have some interaction with, try to have them, push them a bit towards the 10th of December and beyond, of course, but of course the other projects are also still in keep. But what we have tried to try to see is, of course, that you also work all with your integration planning and try to see or give you an indication where you can find and where you can have the first results that we can share in advance. But maybe we have also forgotten somebody. They've forgotten a certain project that were in that cross-border interaction. We are working, Colin, of course, with you with ECAR a bit on a separate track. We also integrate that in the demo. But I was referring merely about, okay, if there are projects already engaging, to say, okay, but we can also showcase something on a short term towards and that shows cross-border interoperability, not yet wallet interoperability. Then the next step. So if you have made the mistake by forgetting you or thoughting that you were not on the shorter term engagement, please let us know or speak out at this moment. I have some message also from Italy. Pietro, you were mentioning that Cimea also wanted potentially to do something and also try to reach a demo. Pietro, maybe if you are in the call, I know you will discuss this, but maybe you can also share.
Yes, I'm talking to them as they have a major update running that, if everything goes well, will be deployed today. So if everything goes as planned, they will have time to set up a EBSI integration in the next weeks. Yeah. But I'll tell you tomorrow, as I asked them to have a meeting today.
Okay.
In this case, sorry, I believe there would be the possibility to many of the participants at university to participate to the cross border scenario, as they have a very easy web interface to issue or receive qualifications without the need of any integration. So that could be an option to showcase cross-border scenarios at zero cost, I would say. But let me talk to them and see how does it go today.
Okay, I will reach out indeed again in this group.
Yeah. And by the way, I believe Colin will be happy to hear that, because they're already integrated with the car, so it's an easy way to get everybody on board.
That is indeed the main one of the reasons that we are happy that Colin and Eka has joined this race. Okay, I get indeed a warning from Maxine that we need to have a bit of time check. I don't know if somebody want to reach out to say, okay, but we also have the ambitious, the aim towards the 10th of December. We want also to showcase something. We want to also have I be part of that fast track and be supported. Let us know. Reach out now or reach out in a private message via mailing. No? It's ambitious, I know. So we are pushing you, but we don't want to forget anybody. No? Okay, but if you sleep on it tonight and you have in the morning, yes, I want to do that, let us know so that we highlight that most attractive demo towards possible. Before I give the floor back to Maxime, just to mention, we will share also some documents that are from the public drafts from the IDAS. We cannot share everything, but due to with help from some member state representatives, if you want to learn more, it's not needed for this early adopter pilot, but it gives you an indication, okay, what are the IDAS people thinking about, what kind of direction is this going. Very early drafts, but for those who are interested in knowing what is a bit happening, we'll be adding some documents, but they will change a lot of times. Okay, but will be also joined in the wiki. Back to you, Maxine.
Perfect. So I'll just invite Zaira to put the slides up again, but I think we're going to go for a little Slido exercise, if you will indulge us. Zaira?
Yes, I'm here.
You're here? Have you opened the door for the internet to come in?
It's true, it works, I promise. All right, I'm gonna go directly to the Slido because we only have 4 minutes. I'm gonna invite the participants to code on slido.com. You know how it works. Please enter the code EBSI 2021, and then we can start. Just a note on that, please do join us. We use these answers to help support you, and it really helps us map out our roadmap as well. So I will start already with the first question. The first question is, did you finalize your integration plan? And it's anonymous, so please do let us know. And if we see there's a high no, then we can find a way to support you further. 50-50, not bad. Right, yes, good. Right, I only see 6 participants here. We have more participants in this call, so please do let us know. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to our second question, which is still on the integration plan. So For those who answer no, please let us know what are the impediments you're facing in the elaboration of your integration plan.
Pick a few keywords if you want to be a summary about it. You don't feel the don't need to write an essay.
Cluster meeting. Okay, maybe this is a bit too vague. Please do elaborate. Time. Okay. Changing, all right. We're giving you this chance to still answer, to let us know. All right, I don't see any further engagement. So I'm going to go on to the next question, which is, do you feel comfortable presenting a first demo at the quarterly meeting? To remind you of the date, it's going to be on the 9th and the 10th of December. Yay! I'm happy to hear that. No. It went really quick. It depends. I mean, if you're comfortable, please do let us know what it depends on in the chat box. This is our way to pull you out. Right, since we only have a few, we have 1 more minute. I'm going to just move on to the next and last question. Maybe give it a few seconds. Right. So the last question is, if we plan a bigger event in Q1 2022, what would be the ideal timing for you? And this is in line to our roadmap. Sorry, Max, go ahead.
I was going to say, to be clear, an event to demo something.
I assume the February one is for Valentine's Day. We're aiming for that.
Don't indeed forget that is the best Valentine's surprise and present you can give. So I don't know if I change the votes. Oh no.
Okay, but I think the picture is pretty clear that people would need a bit more time, so we'll take that into account in our planning.
All right, thank you for participating. This was our last question. It was very helpful. Thank you.
Shall we just quickly wrap up? If you guys have another couple of minutes for me, I just wanted to give you a view of what's happening next. So I need the slides for memory support. For those of you who would be presenting, willing to present something at a quarterly meeting, even if it is a partial demo, please reach out to us. We will be very happy to give you a slot during the call. So that would be fantastic. And reach out to us at eubsi@ec.europa.eu. I've dropped the link in the chat a couple of times. And if you're presenting, obviously you should plan some time to prepare it, but I'm sure that you will. So we've already planned a couple of technical support meetings as well during the month of December. I just wanted to point out that we have taken note of the fact that some of you would like a dedicated intervention on schemas and JSON LD contexts. So we will add that to our plans, and that way everyone can benefit. Obviously, don't hesitate to reach out to us on other channels in the meantime if you are stuck, especially if you're presenting a demo, because in that case, we will rush to help. And that would be it for the immediate next steps that we will be following ourselves. And given that we no longer have time for a another round of questions, I will just close the floor with this. We will be finalizing our plans in the new year, and we will obviously organize a demo day. So we will see you again before Christmas in a couple of technical meetings. And for those of you who are presenting or willing to present at the quarterly meeting, let us know. We'll reach out to you and we'll organize this. It doesn't have to be a long presentation. It can be as short as 10 to 15 minutes. So yes, don't hesitate. Thank you very much. And the forums here, we are available by email in the meantime. So we'll see you again before Christmas. Have a nice end of the day. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.